two-wheel drift out of the top hairpin then before herring downhill.
Yeah.
And then caught her from a long way.
The year was 2005. Suzuki celebrates a decisive victory in World Superbike, setting their K5 Gixxer 1000 as the new standard for performance of superbikes. It's believed that watching Suzuki's success, BMW had taken inspiration from the Gixxer 1000 in their plans to develop their own superbike. With Ducati defeated, BMW wasn't the only company which wanted to take Ducati's market share and solidify their spot in the European superbike market. It turns out that at the same time, leadership over at Aprilia had plans to make a new superbike to replace their RSV 1000R. And this means right off the bat, before development even started, the two companies were in competition. But what neither of these two companies knew was that their project was about to take a big turn for the worst.
The Dow tumbled more than 500 points after two pillars of the street tumbled over the weekend.
In 2008, the world suffered a big economic crisis. And because of this, people no longer found the idea of buying a $10,000 to $15,000 toy, known as a superbike, to be a very good investment. But Aprilia and BMW were already too far along in their development, so both companies stuck through to complete their respective projects, and by 2009, they were both ready. The Gen 1 S1000RR took the world by surprise. The bike weighed 450 pounds wet and featured a 999cc inline-4 engine producing a groundbreaking 193 crank horsepower with 83 foot-pounds of torque. This made the S1000 the most powerful leader bike of its time, not counting bikes over 1000 cc's. And this performance alone completely beat Aprilia's new RSV4 by 10 horsepower and about 3 pounds. But BMW wanted more than just performance stats. To secure its spot in the hearts of enthusiasts, BMW delivered all this performance with a whole list of cutting-edge technology to make the bike better suited for the street. This included things like multiple power modes, an electronic throttle for smooth power delivery. It was the first production bike to offer a quick shifter, and it was the first superbike of its class to have dynamic traction control and anti-lock brakes. Now, many of you guys are probably wondering what's up with the asymmetrical headlight design, and there's actually a reason for that. This design allowed for minimal weight while still meeting requirements for the street. Initially, the bike community had split opinions about this design, but over time, it grew on people and became a signature mark of the S1000RR. Wow, BMW making a controversial design choice which ended up growing on people. Sounds familiar. Over the next few years, the competition slowly caught up. BMW didn't make any major changes to the S1000 aside from a few tweaks in 2012, known as the Gen 2. They also made a slightly more track-oriented version known as the HP4. During this time, Kawasaki had made huge developments with their ZX-10R, and while it didn't have all the comfort features that the BMW is known for, it was making more horsepower. It wasn't until 2015 that we got a true update to the S1000RR. While the Gen 3 may appear mostly the same, nearly everyone who got a chance to ride one claimed that it felt like a completely different bike. And just like the original release in 2009, many regarded this bike to be the best 1000cc bike on the market. The Gen 3 came with an extra 6 horsepower, upgraded suspension, an improved quick shifter which could now shift down gears without the clutch, as well as cruise control. This made for a far smoother and more comfortable ride, and many enthusiasts still regard the Gen 3 S1000 as the best version of the bike to date. While this bike certainly found its customers and spot in the 1000cc market, the world of superbikes was evolving. It was becoming more and more difficult for an individual company to stand out. Just 2 weeks after the release of the Gen 3 S1000, Yamaha had already stolen the attention of enthusiasts with a completely updated version of their R1, which is the same generation we see today. And by the next year, Kawasaki released a new generation of their ZX-10R. 1 year after that, Suzuki came out with a renovated version of their Gixxer 1000. All these bikes made roughly 200 horsepower and came with much of the same technology that the S1000RR was known for. It wasn't until 2019 that BMW finally put their 10-year-old design to rest with a new Gen 4 S1000RR. This is the same version that we see today, and whether you like this design or the previous, you can't deny that this bike is just a work of art. The new bike makes an astounding 204 horsepower from the factory and weighs anywhere between 434 all the way down to 426.5 pounds, depending on which spec of the bike you get. Now, if this video taught you anything, it's that having top-tier performance has never been enough for BMW, and the Gen 4 is no exception. In 2019, BMW introduced the new shift cam technology, which gives the S1000 the best combination of comfort and ease of use low down in the rev range, without sacrificing its performance at the top end. This bike also features two O2 sensors, which use levels of unburnt fuel in the exhaust to adjust fuel input to adapt to different riding environments like elevation and temperature. The Gen 4 S1000RR also has a slightly more upright riding position when compared to other 1000cc superbikes, and according to most people, it's the most comfortable 1000cc sport bike on the market. At this point, it should come as no surprise that this bike comes with an entire list of electronic features, which serve to make the bike more manageable for daily use, or to make the bike more competitive at the track. This list is long, so get ready. We have heated grips, Bluetooth connection, cruise control, up and down quick shifter, customizable rider modes, cornering ABS, dynamic braking, electronic suspension, launch control, hill start control, and adaptive headlights. I'm sure I probably missed something, but you guys get the point. This technology is what has always separated the BMW S1000RR from the other bikes in its class. But it's also the main complaint that the bike gets, as many people believe that it's over-engineered to the point that it loses its character.
We're already at 635, boys. Woo, look at that!
I'm personally not a big fan of all the rider aids, but thankfully, most of them can be adjusted or turned off. Love it or hate it, no other manufacturer combines sheer performance with comfort and ease of use in the same way BMW does with their S1000RR.